Hello again, mentors. It is Jack the Lad here once again from the Love Local Jobs Foundation with another short video to give you a little insight into what I'm going to be talking about with the students the next time I'm in their school, if I haven't already been in. It's all over the place at the minute. It's brilliant. I love it, to be fair. In the first little snippet of this section of videos, we talked about encouraging the students and the young people to really raise their aspirations and chase down a dream, and the fact that they should never settle for second best when they haven't had a crack at what they really want to do. And we implore them to find a job that fills them with all sorts of brilliant words. Remember them words in red: being adventurous, having fight, and being passionate and stuff like that. And the next little chunk that I would like you to talk to them about, something we'll be talking about, is resilience. And also, as you can see from the slide on your screen now, the importance of luck in your life, and how actually luck with the use of skill attached to it can be a brilliant tool. Now, I don't know about you, but one of the phrases in this life that I just can't stand the most is there's no such thing as luck. You know, people say that. There's no such thing as luck. I don't buy into that. And I talk to the young people about the fact that there is luck, and it does exist, and it's very real. And the fact that there is good luck and that there is bad luck. I tell them the story of how I met my wife, which, I mean, I bumped onto the stairs at work one time, back in Hart with Southern FM, long time ago. And I say to him, how's that not luck? I had a lucky break, I bumped into my wife, and I thought, oh my God, what do I do now? The ball's in my court. I've had this slice of luck, what do I do next? And of course, you know what I mean, we're all adults. It was down to me to try and pull her, for want of a better phrase, and thankfully I did. Greatest stroke of luck I ever had. My job as a radio presenter was a stroke of luck. I simply, without going into too much detail, because we were busy all day, I got that because I knew a bloke who knew a bloke. That was just luck. But the reason I went on and had the success that I did is because I used that luck to my advantage. I decided to use that lucky break and to listen when I arrived in the world of radio, to learn, to take on board advice that I was given. And I used all of that stuff, learning from people that had already been there and seen it and done it, to work in my advantage. And of course, the flip side of that is that you have good luck and then you have bad luck. And this is where the resilience part of the conversation comes into it, because I make no secret to the students that they are going to have bad luck. Lots of bad luck. It happens to us all. Whether that means you fall down a curb and break your ankle, or you lose sort of a football match that you should have won and you lose it in the last minute and it should have been a VAR offside goal. But the difference is, good luck, you can actually decide to try and make work in your favour, and bad luck, it's up to you how long you want to decide to let that hold you back for. So it's very much about the good luck, make it work for you. The bad luck, don't let it drag you down. Don't let it hold you back. And that is where resilience comes into it. Having that ability to keep moving forward, even when it would seem that all of the gods are lining up against you, trying to beat you down and trying to keep you there. And what I say to these young people is, you don't allow that. You keep going. You keep pushing forward. And I do give them a couple of examples of some people that you may well recognise. I'll be honest with you, a lot of the students don't recognise this guy when I show them, but they do recognise what he's holding. And this is, of course, Sir James Dyson. I show the students this slide, and they see a guy holding a Hoover. And that's the first thing they see. It's the only thing they see. Bloke with a Hoover. And then I tell them that James Dyson is worth around about £6 billion. And their eyes kind of go like that. And I can see what they're thinking. They're thinking, but all he did was invent a Hoover. And then I sort of educate them a little bit on this man, and just in fact how tough he is. Because yes, James Dyson's worth £6 billion. Yes, he's got money all over the world. He's got homes all over the world, should I say. He's got whatever he wants. But what people don't tend to understand is what he's holding there, that Dyson Hoover, which changed the world really, because it's in pretty much every home in the world. He had 3,126 failed prototypes of that Hoover. Now, you and I know that means he got it wrong 3,126 times. And he kept going every single time he got it wrong. So the first time he got it wrong, he went again. And he went again, and he went in again. And the 100th time he got it wrong, he went again. And the 500th time, he went again. And the 1,000th, he went again. And you can see where I'm going. Every single time he got it wrong, he went back And he looked at it and said, what did I do wrong? Oh, this is it. This is how it's going to be. This will work now. And then it didn't. But every single time it went wrong, he kept going back and he kept trying and he kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And he didn't let anybody tell him that it wasn't going to happen. And he was so resilient that even after it failed the 3,126th time, he still went back and tried again. And on the 3,127th, he got it right. And I also told him that he is now Sir James Dyson. He's a Knight of the Realm. And the fact that that means that if he wants you to, you have to call him Sir. You know, and they were kind of like, what? And I'm like, yeah, that's how important he is. But no one gave him that. He was resilient and he fought for it. I talked to them about Katy Perry, who you can see here now. And they all look at Katy Perry and think pop star, loads of money, loads of awards, celebrity lifestyle, brilliant. And they're right. She has got that. But what people don't know is that Katy Perry was let go from her first 3 record labels. They don't know that her first record sold 300 copies worldwide. 300. I mean, that's nothing. I mean, it's less than nothing. But every time she was rejected, she would go away and work at her singing, work at her songwriting, work at her dancing, work at her production techniques, her production skills, audio production. And then she would go back and they'd say it's no good. And she'd go and she'd work again and again. And then she'd get told it was no good. And she'd go back and work again and again and again. And now she is where she is. And she's only where she is now because of that resilience and because of that determination to keep going even when everything was stacked against her. And I also talked to them about J.K. Rowling, who was going through an awful lot of personal trauma when she first had the idea for the Harry Potter books. She just lost her mum. She then moved to Portugal to teach English to Portuguese kids. She met and married a Portuguese man. They had a baby. He was not a nice man. I won't go into too much detail, but he was an abusive man. She was going through this while she was still mourning her mum. She eventually came back to England, finished her book, and then did you know that the first Harry Potter book, I don't know what it's called because I don't read them, was rejected by the 12 major book publishers in the UK. They all rejected it flat out. She kept going back and tweaking the book, and then she kept going back and getting rejected, and then tweaking and rejected and tweaking and rejected, until eventually one publisher, I believe it's Bloomsbury Books, said, look, we'll publish it, but they essentially said to her, we're publishing this to keep you away, just stay away. We can't cope with you coming down here anymore, because she'd been badgering them and badgering them and badgering them. They gave her $3,000, printed 1,500 copies of the book, and then they put half of the books in libraries, where, as sad as it is, books get lost. A book critic found the book, read it, loved it, nominated it for the Smarties Children's Book of the Year a few years ago, and it won. And things just went stratospheric. Everything went crazy. We all know what's happened now. I think it's 7 books. I think it's 8 films, theme parks, museums, shot, everything. And the point was, Sir James Dyson, Katy Perry, and J.K. Rowling are extremely successful. But they're also extremely resilient. Because when everything was standing against them, when everything was stacked against them, and everyone was saying, no, it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen, they just decided that they were not going to accept that, and that they were going to keep on moving forward and keep on working at what they believed in until they could show the world what they were all about. And what I say to these young people is, if you want to get what you want, yes, you've got to have all of these attributes. If you want the job that you've always wanted, you've got to be self-aware and decent. You've got to have self-belief. You know, you've got to treat people the right way, but you've also got to be resilient. You've got to want to keep going when everyone else is telling you it's time to give up. And that is resilience. The next thing I'd like you to talk about, if you can, when you have your next mentoring session virtually with your students. And again, I always employ you to talk about yourself, you know, because this is the beauty of having you on board to do this, is that you've been there, you've lived this journey. You have had to show resilience before. You know, you've had to show resilience when things are stacked up against you. When have you had to show resilience in your current role? You know, have you ever done something before and given up a bit too quick? I thought I could have fought for that a bit more, and do you regret it? And then again, flip it round and have that conversation with your student or students, you know. Have they had to show resilience before? It can be in any kind of part of their life. It doesn't always have to be school. You know, have you had to dig deep in a sporting event for your school or a sporting event for your team? You know, have you had to dig deep and be resilient when your parents are telling you no and you're thinking, no, I know I can do this? When have they had to show resilience? And ask them after the conversation that I've had with them in the schools, you know, do they understand what resilience truly is and what it truly means. So yeah, please, it's the second big bit for this next lot of videos, is a chat about resilience. When have you had to use it in your life? Don't worry, all of these conversation starters will be in the booklet again. When have you had to use it in your life? Do you have to use it at work? What is the value of being resilient? And have a chat with your students about that. Brilliant. Okay, all good. Right, listen, this is what we're going to stop it there for a minute. This will be the end of this video. The next little video in this segment is there for you whenever you want it. And when we do that, we're going to be talking about coming out of your comfort zone, something none of us truly like doing, but many of us see the value of. And we'll get to that in the next little video in this series. Thank you.